we did, and they misinterpreted it and call it hate radio and hate mongering. I said, man, I got to write these guys a letter. So I did. I fired off an email, and I said, here is what I do, and this is what the bit was about, and it was about satirizing it was a send-up of certain people who use that word, and, you know, I'm a white man, I'm kind of on the outside looking in, and I look at young black men calling each other this name, and I'm supposed to understand, and if I don't understand, I'm supposed to keep my mouth shut. Well, guess what? That's not going to happen. That ain't going to happen. I don't care how inside the meaning of that is, how inside the cultural interpretation of that is, young or old black males referring to each other using the N-word, and that I either have to understand it or keep my mouth shut. I got a big news flash for you. That ain't going to happen. Not only am I not going to keep my mouth shut, I will comment on it the way I comment on everything around me. That's what the show's about. But apparently you got to get on board. You got to get with the program. If you use the N-word in any context whatsoever and you are a white man, you are therefore a racist, you are a hate monger, and you're doing hate radio. Well, and my understanding is the Black Journalism Review is a prestigious site, a prestigious journal. So I hate to say it, for a prestigious and supposedly intelligent group of individuals, they are being naive and ignorant and childlike in the extreme. Childlike, childish. So I sent them a little email. Now, then they said they sent me an email back saying, thank you very much. We will post it, and please send us a cassette and an air check of your work so that we can judge for ourselves. So, okay. You could have heard that bit that you were castigating and judged for yourself from that, but apparently you misinterpreted that. So I'll go ahead and send these guys a couple of my CDs so they can get some kind of an idea of what it is that I do on the air before they want to throw me in with all the other so-called, and here's the other word that gets beaten into the ground these days, is shock jock. This term, shock jock, this is lazy writing. All kinds of radio writers, people who review the media, they use this term for anybody who is funny on the radio, apparently. Anybody who attempts to do humor on the radio now is a shock jock. And being simple-minded people, they use this term, this appellation, in reference to me. And so that's what I'm supposedly doing. I'm doing shock radio, which couldn't be further from the truth. The stuff we do on the show, as I've said many times before, has purpose. It has meaning. It has absolute clarity. I know exactly why I do what I do. I don't know about anybody else, man. I'm not answering for anybody else's show, any other jive ass on the air. You know what? Talk to them about what they do. Don't lump me in with the rest of those hacks. But what we do on the show is we understand and interpret and satirize life. And these clowns call me a hate-mongering, hate radio shock jock. So, unfortunately, until such time as I get some confirmation to the contrary, these are some simple-minded people at the Black Journalism Review.
Bonjour et merci de voler des lignes aériennes de Phil Hendrie. Nous contrôlons d'une altitude de 30 000 pieds. D'ailleurs, Jerry Lewis. Ce soir, le vol comportera Poodle. Les dessins mentionnés, Doobies américains. Et maintenant, voici Phil.
Phil Hendrie Show, 1-800-449-8686. We are going to be talking with author Robert Greene. The book is called The Return of the Sensitive Man, and this ought to be an interesting hour. Get ready to check in with some questions, because probably for the last 10, 15, probably the last 20 years, the macho man has been back in vogue. Or maybe the last 15 years, I don't know. But there was a point where the sensitive man, the sensitive, so-called sensitive, caring man, sort of went out the window. The macho man is back. His book, The Return of the Sensitive Man, by Robert Greene, just out in hardcover. We're going to talk about that coming up. I want to mention that the Best of the Phil Hendrie Show CD, 1999, Communism is Neat. We have topped the $60,000 mark. It is available online at philhendrieshow.com. If you'd like to, and you live in the Los Angeles area, and you'd like a signed CD from me, come on out to our appearance at Sit and Sleep in Tarzana this Saturday at noon for 3 hours. We'll be at the Sit and Sleep in Tarzana. And they're on Ventura Boulevard, and I don't have my copybook Let me have that copybook. I'll give you the address here in just a second. Thank you. Our third CD signing event will be on Saturday, January 15th at noon. It'll be at the Sit and Sleep Mattress Superstore in Tarzana at 19119 Ventura Boulevard, south of the 101 between Tampa and Reseda. For only $20, you get a CD signed by me, and all the proceeds go to a great charity, My Friend's Place, a resource center for homeless and runaway youth. We also finished signing our pictures, various autographs that we promised people from our radiothon. So your CDs, if you purchased one during our radiothon on Friday, your CDs are on their way. Thank you very, very much for being a part of our radiothon. Our number, 1-800-449-8686. On the line from Los Angeles here, Robert Greene, the author of The Return of the Sensitive Man. Now, that's a return that is sort of unheralded, isn't it, Mr. Greene?
Phil, I think that The Return of the Sensitive Man may be unheralded, but it's not a minute too soon. I think men have overdone and overplayed the macho man role and the tough guy role and that sort of Tim Allen garage Neanderthal role. And really, women want a man who understands them, a man who is sensitive to their needs and sensitive to their plight and to their wants in this world, and that's what The Return of the Sensitive Man, what our book is about. And we don't want men to return to a place of impotence, and we're certainly not looking for men to return to a place of neutrality. But I think we offer something in our book that's perhaps a little different from the average manuals that you might have read about sensitivity and caring for a woman, and that is that women find the sensitive man sexy, and that women find a sensitive man to be somehow arousing and can arouse great passions in them, even more so than the macho man.
The sensitive man, Bob, was big in the 70s when the women's movement, women's liberation movement, the women's self-awareness movement was in full flower, and the word was they were looking for sensitive guys, not traditional macho Neanderthals. And then the popular culture and popular awareness sort of turned away from that, correct?
Yeah, Phil, I would say about in the mid-'80s, men started to return to a more macho route, began to assert themselves in more traditional ways, and that took root and took hold in our culture as a return to traditional family values. And
that's what it was associated. So was it associated with a traditional family value thing?
Much of that was from the Reagan era, the traditional family value return. But now, as we enter the 21st century, we find out what works, not what is popular, not what is in vogue, not what is being dictated by the regime or philosophical establishment in place, but what works for men and what works for women. And The Return of the Sensitive Man talks about that. In
your book, you mentioned, and as you just did right now, that sensitive men are sexier than traditional macho men.
Exactly.
Why?
Well, they are because they reach a place in women that the traditional macho man cannot reach. Sensitive men, and I make the claim in my book, if you are a truly sensitive man, a truly caring, soft, concerned, compassionate, not passionate, but compassionate man, that even if a woman doesn't particularly like you, on your very first date with her, or on your very first afternoon with her, or your very first social outing with her, you'll probably get further physically than a traditional macho man. And
there's an example in your book that a sensitive man, if you are a truly sensitive man, there is no part of a woman's body that she won't let you touch on the first date.
That is correct.
Now, is this from personal experience, or?
Part of it is from my personal experience. Part of it is apocryphal. I have received letters and confirmation from men who have read my book that they have successfully been able to know a woman in a more intimate way than traditional macho men. I'm not talking about full-on sex necessarily, but I will tell you that, for instance, I had a date with a woman after many years of affecting this macho role that was in my life, and I'll tell you a little bit about that later on, but I went out with a woman, my very first date with her. She told me she didn't like me. She told me that she could barely stand my company. And
this was when you were being sensitive.
This was when I was being very, very sensitive. And yet throughout the night, I had been able to maneuver my hand so that it rested just inside of her thigh. I literally
You had your hand where? On her leg?
I had my hand resting inside her thigh. And
throughout the evening?
Throughout the evening, during dinner, during coffee, she allowed me to touch her in places where ordinarily you would think a woman would not allow that, even though she told me she didn't like me.
All right, we're talking with Robert Greene. The book is called The Return of the Sensitive Man. Our number is 1-800-449-8686. He's making the point that if you are a truly sensitive and compassionate man, and I'm quoting from Chapter 2 of the book, there is no part of a woman's body that she won't let you touch on the first date, even if that's the only date you've had with her.
Even if that's the only date that you've had with her. She, as I said, Phil, she may not even like you, but she will allow you to know her a little bit better in that way. Women have been putting up with boors for years. They yearn for a man who is in touch with his feminine side. I used to be a very ignorant man. I was, and I'll tell you right now, Phil, I was violent. I was violent toward my first wife. I made my then wife very unhappy. But when I became sensitive, I realized that that was the best way to know a woman. And it happened for me, Phil, after seeing a wonderful movie called Waiting to Exhale. And
now, what is that about?
That is a movie about women bonding and women being with each other. And I saw Waiting to Exhale, and I realized that really what women wanted was a sensitive, soft, compassionate man, a man they could enjoy almost like a girlfriend. And not only that, I could tell you after seeing Waiting to Exhale, I got a little bit busier with African-American women because the film is about black women.
It's about black women bonding.
Yes, sir. It's about black women bonding. But after I saw Waiting to Exhale, I found out what women liked. I found out how women talk to each other and how they related to each other. And that's what my book is all about, The Return of the Sensitive Man. And if you are truly a sensitive man, you will wind up placing your hand on parts of her body on the first date. And I will say, and I don't know what I'm allowed to.
Well, just be very careful if you wouldn't mind.
All right. Well, I mean, on the inside of her thigh, on her backside.
Her breasts?
Her breasts, yes.
Because you're sensitive.
Because I was a sensitive man, yeah. And there's some things. There's some catchphrases, catch points that you should know. You need to speak softly, wear non-threatening clothes, wear a lot of sweaters, dockers, any kind of loafer or slip-on. Engage her in things she's interested in. Talk a lot about Dr. Laura. Read books like The Notebook or Angela's Ashes.
Now, what books are those? Angela's? I know Angela's Ashes. My wife read it.
Yeah, The Notebook. It's a.
What's it about?
I don't know. It's some some book about some old lady, or some old lady dies, or some old man dies, or something like that. But it's a book that it's one of those books that these women like. So. Stuff like that.
All right, well, we're going to get back a little bit deeper into your book. We'll open up our phone line at 1-800-449-8686. Robert Greene, author of The Return of the Sensitive Man. And if you are a sensitive, compassionate man, even on the first date with a woman, even if she dislikes you, he said that you can pretty much fondle her because women like that. 1-800-449-8686, Phil Hendrie Show. Show, 1-800-449-8686. Robert Greene, the author of The Return of the Sensitive Man. A reminder, if you go to philhendrieshow.com, by the way, you can pick up the best of the Phil Hendrie Show CD, $19.99, $23.50. All the proceeds go to my friend's place, a resource center for homeless and runaway kids in Hollywood, California. Robert Greene, we're talking about the return of the sensitive man. Being a sensitive man is sexy. Women like it. You are saying even on the first date, even if she doesn't like you, she's going to let you put your hand on her thigh and...
Absolutely, Phil. It sounds almost too good to be true, but sensitivity is back. It's sexier than ever. Again, we have these different checkpoints. Engage her in book she's interested in. I mentioned The Notebook. I mentioned Angela's Ashes. There's another book out that women like. It's called Message in a Bottle. And this is a real piece of work. You should read this thing. It's just dripping with all the stuff that, women like. Drinking white wine, all of this stuff.
There's a lot of white wine drinking in the book?
Yeah, in the book there's a lot of white wine drinking, but also in life. I think if you're going to be sensitive, you need to.
All right, Robert, hold the line here, 1-800-449-8686. We'll get into some people who are calling about your book. Here is Atlanta on the Phil Hendrie Show. Hello.
Hello.
Yes, ma'am. Hi.
Hi. I'd just like to say this is the first time I've called in probably on any show, and if this man thinks he is sensitive and knows anything about sensitivity about women, he is absolutely insane. His message comes across as wanting to emulate sensitivity in order to manipulate women, and I refer to the comment about reading books that women like, and he describes the book as Some Old Man or Some Old Woman Died. Now, this is a very sensitive comment.
I apologize to the lady if I'm not coming across the way. I guess I'm a better writer than I am a verbal communicator.
Well, tell us about the book, The Notebook. Your exception is to this book, The Notebook, ma'am, or the way he was describing it?
The way he was describing.
Excuse me.
Bless you, Phil. The Notebook is a book about an old lady that dies.
You said The Notebook is about some old lady or some old man or something that dies, and you should talk to women about it because they really like it and they're sensitive to it. And you come across as being incredibly insensitive, and the message that I hear you talking about is how to manipulate women by making them think you're interested in what they're interested in, and then you can put your hands all over their body.
Well, again, I do apologize.
Well, the way that you said it probably comes across that way. What is The Notebook about?
Isn't that what it's about, ma'am?
I haven't read it. I have no idea. It's just your...
Well, what about some of the other things? You mentioned Angela's Ashes?
Angela's Ashes is a book that a lot of women have been reading. Phil, you mentioned your wife read it.
My wife loved that book.
It's a lot of women are reading it.
Have you read it?
I'm sorry, ma'am?
Have you read it?
I'm not familiar with that book.
Have you read any of the books that you're talking about that men should read to show women their sensitivity?
I have scanned the books. What I do is I'm basically scanning the books to get the high points of them.
To get the high points to be on a surface level so that you can say that you know what women like and say that you are sensitive, but not really go into depth, which is what sensitivity is all about.
Mr. Greene, what are we talking about? I mean, a veneer?
No, Phil, this is not a veneer. This is about understanding. There's so much you can do. What I'm saying is...
Well, in the book you mentioned drink a lot of white and blush wines.
That's correct.
Do you think that's what women like? A lot of white and blush wines?
Well, ma'am, you're a woman. Tell me you don't drink white wine.
Very seldom. I actually prefer German beer.
Well, in a lot of ways, my book is a general overview of what women like.
Yes, it comes across that you have a very general overview and that you have not gone into depth.
The comment, one of the points are use the breast cancer stamps. What does that mean?
There are breast cancer stamps that you can get at the post office. This is to support funding for breast cancer research. I think it's a terribly important issue.
Yeah, but you say use them.
Because women, obviously, it's a woman's issue.
Everything you say comes across as use a woman, give her some little thing that might make you think she's sensitive or might make you think she's listening.
Well, I'm saying, I asked you the question. The book, you haven't read The Notebook?
I have not.
Have you read Message in a Bottle?
I have not.
Have you read Angela's Ashes? Have you read...
I have not.
I'm going to try to get to a book that maybe you've read. Have you ever... Well, what are you finding funny about this?
Well, I'm just thinking that I'm out of touch with what's going on and what women are reading, obviously, if this is what women are reading.
I got one that if you're a woman, you had to have read this, The Thornbirds.
I did not read The Thornbirds. I guess I'm not a woman. I did, however, see The Thornbirds on television.
All right, you saw it. Okay, I knew if I kept...
it has been a few years since
you kept poking around, you'd find one.
I'd find one. So The Thornbirds, that's a good one.
What's that about?
It's about a bunch of Irish people. I don't know what it's about. But the point is...
Well, why would you dare to talk about it if you don't know what it's about?
I am saying in my book, you need to be in touch with your feminine side.
Then you need to walk your talk and practice what you preach, and
exactly
at least read one of the books that you're touting that women fall for, so that they will fall for you and let them put your hands on the inside of their thigh on the first day, even though they don't even like you.
The woman told me she could barely stand my company.
Well, I can understand that point.
And yet I had my hand on the inside.
You wouldn't be having your hand on my thigh.
I had my hand on the inside of her thigh.
Well, that was a very sick woman, wasn't it?
Why?
Because she's sitting there telling you that she doesn't like you, and she's having her put your hands all over her body. Now, something is giving mixed signals.
I am sensitive enough. I could cop a feel on you, and I don't mean to be insulting. But
you are incredibly insulting, and I guarantee you could not cop a feel on me.
Ma'am, yes, I could, because I'm sensitive.
Bonjour et merci de voler des lents ayant de fil Hendrie. Nous construirons une altitude de 30 000 pieds.
Phil Hendrie Show, 1-800-449-8686. And, excuse me, sorry. The cold and flu season, I mean, I'm not going to pretend. I'm not going to put it on. Cold and flu season. Although I'm not sick. Must be TB or something. I must have some lower respiratory problem. Maybe it's a tumor. So anyway, I have on the line here Robert Greene, who is the author of the book, The Return of the Sensitive Man. And Mr. Greene has outlined a program of sensitivity for the modern man that he says is guaranteed to allow you certain intimacies with a woman on the very first date. Are you sensitive, Mr. Greene, or are you just trying to, as you put it, cop a feel?
Well, first of all, Phil, I didn't mean it to come off sounding the way that it did. What I'm saying is I discovered after seeing Waiting to Exhale what women want. They want sensitivity, conversation, white wine and cheese, and vacations in the Caribbean. And I looked at myself, and I asked myself, was I giving the women in my life those things? And I found that if I could read books like, I mentioned Angela's Ashes, Message in a Bottle, that kind of thing, that women would like me and would allow me to touch them where ordinarily women would not allow me to touch them. That's all I'm saying.
Okay. I'm not sure I understand, but we'll let it sit there and go to another phone call here. Conyers on the Phil Hendrie Show. Hello?
Hello?
Yes, sir. Hi.
Hey, how you doing?
Good.
I just wanted to tell Robert, first of all, I think he's very captivated enough to have me on this phone for the last 12 minutes using my cell phone hours. But I just want to let
Well, I mean, the book's for every man who wants to return to a sensitive place.
Okay, well, I just wanted to let you know that I totally disagree with you. We all have a right to our opinions. But
you disagree with me?
Yes, I do. I totally disagree with you. And the sad part about it, I think it's guys like you who...
Well, what part do you disagree with?
I disagree.
Do you want to get to the next level with a woman, or what?
Well, I think you can do that, but I think you can only do that with being who you are. And I think what you're wanting to do is create a facade. And that facade is what normally keeps guys in the doghouse and keep women upset and keep women...
Is this a facade, Mr. Greene, or are you really this guy?
I'm really this guy. Last night, I just want to tell the gentleman, and you, Mr. Henry, I cried. I was watching NYPD Blue, and Andy Sipowicz, the character, kissed his son and said, "Mommy's in heaven," and I cried.
Well,
and my girlfriend saw that. Pardon me?
I understand everything that you're saying, but like I said, the elements that you're using to create a sensitive side, I think is unnecessary. If you're a man and you know what you're all about, I don't think you need the white wine. I don't think you need the trips in the Caribbean. And to be quite honest with you, you could save a lot of money. I hope I don't get in trouble by saying this, but hell, you could smoke a joint and come out a little bit cheaper and have a greater time. But
well, yeah, I mean, well, I'll tell you this.
But I don't want to get into, like I said, I've been on the phone. I'm just saying that I don't know what you're looking for.
Do you wear non-threatening clothing?
Say what?
Do you wear non-threatening clothing?
I mean, I wear whatever I feel, and whatever.
Well,
woman
but you got to be non-threatening. You got to wear a lot of sweaters. Are you? You know, I'm trying to determine, what do you wear? Sweaters, slip-ons?
I'm a type of guy that can probably have any woman that I want, and that's for me being who I am. And that's not the type of clothes that I wear. That's not the type of clothes that. Maybe what I need to do is write a book.
Well, I mean,
if it's probability.
Let me tell you this much: when you get to the place, where I'm at, hold on. When you get to the place where I'm at, where a woman who told me she can barely stand me being around her, and yet I spent the whole night with my hand on the inside of her thigh. Think about that.
Well, what is that place?
I guess that's the other thing. We need to find out what the objective here is. To get a cop a feel, I can show you a couple of places in Atlanta where you could get about $10 or $15 and you can cop a feel.
This is not costing me any money. I can cop a feel. And
wait a second. Are we talking about copping a feel, or are we talking about...
No, we're talking about being sensitive.
Okay, and that's what I'm saying. You don't need all these aphrodisiacs to become sensitive.
And
another thing what I want to say is I'm an African-American male, and I hate that the only thing you got out of waiting to exhale was the sensitive side of a woman. The lady that I'm dating now, the lady that I'm dating now, today was her birthday, and I did a damn good job. And I still feel disappointed that she didn't react the way that I wanted her to react. I didn't drink any white wine. I didn't go through all of this. I don't have a problem.
There you go. And she didn't react the way you wanted. You didn't give her any white wine. You didn't buy any breast cancer stamps. Mm-hmm. You didn't read Angela's Ashes. And I realize you're black, but you really ought to read this Angela's Ashes. It's about a poor white family.
Well, see, what I think
you'd really like it.
But see, what happened was I tried to do all this stuff during the day. The excitement for me happens at night. When I get home tonight, all of that, what I was looking for, I just realized.
Do you talk with your hands? Do you use your hands when you speak?
Do I use my hands when I speak?
Yeah.
It depends on what I'm talking about.
You should do it all the time.
Oh, okay.
All right.
Well, like I said, you're very entertaining.
That's just the sensitivity I'm talking about, and it's the thing that you need to bring out.
All right. I thank the gentleman for his call, 1-800-449-8686. Here's Laguna Beach on the Phil Hendrie Show. Hello.
Hi.
Yes.
I just wanted to comment to Mr. Green that I think it's kind of a joke what you're trying to do. You're coming up with all these ways to act sensitive, how to be sensitive. You know, you either are sensitive or you're not. It's a personality trait you have.
I'm talking about getting in touch with my feminine side.
Well, you can do that, but you're saying, trying to tell other people how to do it by reading these books. You have to like these books. These have to be things you want to do, not just to get a woman, because that's...
You're talking about my book? You're talking about the Notebook, or what are you talking about?
Just in general, drinking light wine, taking trips here. That has to be something that you want to do yourself.
But that's the sensitivity. That's getting in touch with your feminine side.
Not everyone's feminine side is like that. I'm a woman. I'm feminine. I don't read those books. I don't drink light wine. I don't talk with my hands. A trip to Hawaii is great, not necessarily the Caribbean.
All right, okay. I'm talking about the sun, the beach. Phil, what about you in your life, if I could, just for a moment, ask you, does your wife read, those kind of books?
Well, when you say those kind of books, my wife has read Angela's Ashes.
What about the beach?
Yeah, my wife loves the beach. I've taken her to Mexico. I've taken her to Hawaii. Does
she drink white wine?
No, she does not. My wife hates white wine. She drinks red.
Well, all right. Everybody is atypical, but what I'm saying is, you wear non-threatening sweaters, don't you?
What do you mean I wear non-threatening sweaters? Well, I don't understand what you mean by that. What I wear is what I'm comfortable in, okay? And that's what I wear. And
that's what a woman wants, a man who's comfortable with himself, not trying to act some way.
This book is for guys that can get in touch with their feminine side and still on the first date. You want me to spell it out?
You can give a girl a roofie on the first date. She might not like you, but you'll get a toucher.
That's illegal. I'm talking about being a sensitive guy, and on the first date, I think you know what I'm trying to say.
I understand what you're trying to say, but, I mean, you can pretend you're sensitive, and sure, maybe you might get somewhere on the first date, maybe the second, maybe the third, but spending some time with someone who's just trying to pretend to be sensitive or do things in a way that he thinks he'll get a woman to like him, she'll see through that. It has to be something that you really enjoy, something that's really a part of you. My husband loves to go to the beach. I wouldn't call him a sensitive man.
What does he like? Does he drink the white wine or what?
No, he doesn't drink wine.
Does he do the breast cancer stamp?
No, we use normal stamps.
Well, what about? Well, let me ask you this: does he have a cup of coffee with you?
Occasionally, yeah.
There you go. That's what you got to do. Have a cup of coffee.
He had a cup of coffee before he met me,
Buy breast cancer stamps.
What do you mean buy breast cancer stamps? Am I just going out and getting sheets of breast cancer stamps?
Or the ones with the little hearts on them?
No, you got to make sure that the woman sees you do it so that she knows you're in touch with your feminine side.
But you're not doing it because you really care about supporting breast cancer then?
Yeah. Huh?
You're doing it so that the woman will think you're sensitive. You're not buying it because a portion of those profits goes towards the Breast Cancer Foundation.
Isn't that right, Mr. Green?
That's what it sounds like.
No, I care about breast cancer.
But that doesn't seem to be your objective. Are you reading these books because you're interested in these books? You think they're interesting, or because you want to be able to talk with a woman about them so she'll think you're sensitive?
Well, I mean, come on, let's be real. I read the notebook. I mean, I read parts of it. I scanned it. I mean,
and you didn't like it.
It's pretty rough to read.
Well, then you're probably really not truly sensitive.
Women like it, and you got to read that. Also, How Stella Got Her Groove Back. Did you see that movie?
No, I didn't.
That's another one of these movies that the women like.
I liked Con Air.
How Stella Got Her Groove Back sucked. Other than Angela Bassett, really sucked.
You can't say that, though, so that these broads will hear you. You've got to say, I liked it, it's great. She got in touch with her inner feelings. See what I'm saying? That's what I'm trying to say to the lady.
Well, then you're trying to say that maybe we should just all go out and look for younger men. That's what they have to be. That's what
you're in touch with your feelings, yeah.
Okay, thank you for your call, ma'am. 1-800-449-8686. San Diego on the Phil Hendrie Show. Hello?
Yes.
Yes, ma'am.
I just have to say that I am amazingly insulted, and I'm 28 years old. I fought my way to a career. This is absolutely setting women back. I don't read those books.
Setting women back. I'm talking about getting in touch with my feminine side.
You are stereotyping an entire gender based upon what you want women to like, is what I'm hearing.
No, ma'am. This is based upon research. This is based upon my years in relationships, seeing other relationships. I go to restaurants, I look at these women sitting together and having, what do they call it, like a girls' night out? Guess what they're drinking?
And I don't drink white wine.
Champagne.
I can go out with my friends and we can have a beer. My husband can go out with his friends and have a beer.
You're telling me with a straight face you don't drink white wine?
I do not drink.
Come on.
I do not drink white wine. Let me tell you what else. I picked up Angela's Ashes. No merit. I hated the book. I got 2 chapters into it and put it down. I have a male friend who raves to me that it's the best book he's ever read.
Generally, well, I don't know what your upbringing was like and how close to your mother you were, but generally
I was very close to my mother. I was raised by my mother. I'm a highly educated woman.
Well, generally,
you put the Fountainhead in front of me, we can talk. You're not even reading these books.
The Fountainhead is traditionally a man's book.
That is not a man's book. It was written by a woman.
It was written by Ayn Rand, okay?
Yes, it was, and she was a woman.
Yeah, technically.
What do you mean technically? She was a woman.
Phil, she was a dyke.
Whoa. First of all, Ayn Rand had a boyfriend who was much younger than her.
Thank you, and
And
a husband.
a husband.
Women don't like these books,
you're going to tell me the Fountainhead is a what?
You're saying if women don't like these books, they're lesbians. How about if I said you're gay because you wear sweaters?
I'm saying the Fountainhead is traditionally a masculine book.
It is not a masculine book. And you can't say that woman's a lesbian. That is
you're telling me that you read the Fountainhead. You're the only woman I know that ever read the Fountainhead, and that's a fact.
That is not a fact. That is absolutely not.
First of all, the Fountainhead was a major bestseller in is the Fountainhead or Atlas Shrugged? Atlas Shrugged was a major bestseller in 19.
Well, we're not talking about are we, Phil? We're talking about the Fountainhead, not Atlas Shrugged.
Yes,
but the fact
Fountainhead is a major piece of work. If you had gone to university, you would have read this work. You would have women around you who had read this type of work.
I'm saying most normal women, or I don't mean to say that, I don't mean to offend you, but what I'm saying is most women that
So I'm a lesbian because I like to read the Fountainhead?
No, I did not say that. I'm saying you should read and get in touch with your feminine side and read The Notebook. It's about this old lady that dies.
Oh, okay. And again, like the first caller on the show, I hardly think that that's sensitive, an old woman that dies. Just because I'm a woman doesn't mean that I like to read books about old women that dies, and also does not mean I'm feminine.
Tell me this. Do you drink champagne?
No, I don't drink. For the most part, I don't drink, which doesn't make me not feminine. It makes me not an alcoholic.
Women drink champagne, they drink white wine, they drink blush wines, and they read The Notebook and Message in a Bottle.
That is ridiculous. How much time have you spent in bars?
You got to understand something, Mr. Green, and I've said this over and over again. My wife read Message in a Bottle. She almost puked her guts up. She couldn't. She couldn't stand the book, okay? Now, yes, she did like Angela's Ashes. My wife is not a white wine drinker.
But, okay, this is the catch. This is the catcher. Did you like the movie Sleepless in Seattle?
I didn't see it.
Oh, get out of here. You know what? Forget it.
It's not my kind of film. It's not my...
How about You Got Mail?
I lived in Europe for many years.
Did you see You Got Mail?
Did I see You've Got Mail?
Yeah.
No. I think the premise is ridiculous.
You've Got Mail was a moron movie, and Sleepless in Seattle was, like, overdone. And I don't know what it is you're saying, but a lot of people are saying that this is what you're doing with your book, Mr. Green, is you are forcing a code of behavior on a man, not necessarily an internal change. Okay?
Look, how come I was able to cop a feel?
You know what? I think that's disgusting. I think any man that's going to try and cop a feel or sleep with me on the first date is someone I'm never going to see again.
But what if he's sensitive?
That's an unethical woman who's going to have sex on the first date to begin with.
What if he's sensitive?
Like sensitive, unsensitive, it doesn't matter. To me, sex on the first date's wrong.
Well, let's see. That goes against everything I've learned. That if you're sensitive and you wear sweaters, you can get the first base.
If you're stereotyping, gay men wear sweaters. If you're going to stereotype, I believe
that's the whole thing about sensitive guys. But I can tell you that I've gotten to third base and second base on a first date.
So you kiss and tell? That's disgusting also.
I didn't mention her name. I'm saying drinking white wine, having coffee, and discussing Angela's Ashes.
Are you married?
I've gotten to second base. No, ma'am. No, ma'am. Of course I'm not.
Well,
you've gotten to second base drinking white wine and discussing Angela's Ashes.
It's disgusting.
Yes,
you know,
all right.
That tells me that the caliber of women you're dating needs to change.
Thank you very much, ma'am, for your call. Take a break. Phil Hendrie Show at 1-800-449-8686. Welcome back to the Phil Hendrie Show at 1-800-449-8686. Bob Green, Robert Green, the author of the book, The Return of the Sensitive Man. We're going to go back to our phone calls. There's a whole chapter here about sex, and I'm not sure I understand it. You talk about fulfilling women?
In our chapter on sex, Phil, one of the phrases that women use is they like to be, quote, fulfilled sexually. And basically what that means, and this is kind of the drawback, or maybe not, that when you finally get a woman in bed, you have to do this fulfilling her thing that they talk about, which generally means you got to, use, I don't know how to say this, but you got to use your tongue.
I don't understand what you mean.
You got to go get you got to stick your face in it. And that's fine, but that's the whole fulfilling them thing.
You know, a lot of women are calling and saying, it sounds like you're just mouthing the words and you don't really believe this. And
No, I absolutely do. I'm just telling you that may be a drawback for some guys.
May be a drawback. All right, here is Irvine on the Phil Hendrie Show.
Hello?
Yes, hello.
I don't understand with the white wine, why a woman has to be feminine or has to drink white wine in order to be feminine or see certain.
No, I don't either. But that's what you do. How old are you?
I'm 19.
Well, when you get a little bit older, you're gonna find you probably for some reason you like white wine. White wine, blush wine.
I've had wine before, but I don't think that when I drink it, I'm more feminine.
Well, isn't it true about the whole the other thing I was talking about?
What other thing?
You know, that whole be fulfilled thing?
Oh, no, I think you're totally full of it there. I think you have no idea what you're talking about.
Oh, you don't want to be, quote, fulfilled, end quote.
No, I don't think you need that in a relationship to be happy or to be fulfilled, in other words.
Well,
where are you getting this, Mr. Green?
Well, I'm talking about when a woman has sex, she doesn't say she's having sex. She says, I'd like to be, meld with you and that kind of stuff.
Oh, my God. I don't know what kind of women you've been with, but you're way out there.
Well, that's the way women are. They want to, how do I put this, what do you call it? A union, that kind of deal. They talk in words. I don't understand half the crap they say.
Oh, my God.
Right? Isn't that right?
No.
Well, you're very young. You'll find out.
What do you mean they want to meld with you?
That's the way they talk. I'd like to be fulfilled, and I think it's time for you and I to be intimate.
Explain to me what melding is.
They want to be intimate. That kind of
the word melding is intimate?
Yeah, melding, united as one, and just a lot of really scary stuff. But that's what they...
Well, if it's scary stuff, then why are you writing a book about it?
I'm sorry?
How many women have you been with?
Couple of hundred.
You know how intimate people want to be and what all these women want. How many have you been with?
A couple of hundred.
You've been with a couple hundred women?
Yes, sir. Ma'am. They just want you to make them shake. That's
have
all. They
all
want to
of
vibrate.
them told you this?
They want to tingle,
Okay. Thank you very much for your call. We have time for one more call. Shake and tingle, whatever. Let's go to San Antonio on the Phil Hendrie Show. Hello.
Hello. Hey, I don't know what this guy's deal is, but you're so way off base there, brother. I'm
way
a
off base.
Guy.
I've slept with 200 women.
Now, hold on. Mostly my whole life. And I never read your book. I don't understand what white wine and cheese and having coffee with your wife has to do with anything. My wife doesn't drink coffee, and neither do I.
That's your feminine side.
Does that mean that
that's your feminine
because we don't drink coffee that I'm insensitive?
I'll bet she likes the other stuff I was talking about, that whole, fulfillment deal.
Well, see, you're putting too much emphasis on that. If you have a good, strong, healthy relationship with your wife, sex is about 20% of it.
Have you ever cried during
the other 80% is sitting down, listening to what your wife has to say,
have you ever cried
and being in touch with what makes her happy.
Have you ever cried
and you talk about sensitivity.
Have you ever cried at a Texas Longhorn football game?
On her birthday, I went out and I bought her some aromatherapy candles, some bathroom salt.
Oh, brother.
And, yeah.
You're kidding. That's overdoing it.